Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Shimano RC903 Power carbon fiber cycling shoes. Shimano's S-PHYRE RC9 shoes have been the brand's top-of-line shoes with their latest technology and performance features. The S-PHYRE RC903 Power are the latest variation in the S-PHYRE lineup and feature optimized performance and stiffness. As the Power name implies, Shimano markets these shoes as a premium road cycling shoes for sprinters and power cyclists. In terms of packaging, it's very simple. You just have the S-PHYRE branding printed directly onto this cardboard box. And then you can see the specs on the variation we have here, which is the wider Euro 44 version. I'll go ahead and open this up. We'll go over the specs. So retail price is $475, $25 higher than the standard version. These shoes are designed for speed and power, which is why they have a single BOA Li2 Type D dial, which is actually anodized aluminum. And then this really cool color shifting crystal finish on the heel cup, as well as around the outsole. This also has an optimized heel cup on here. So really designed for stability and to keep your feet planted when you're putting in the high watts. This also has enhanced cooling. So you have more cooling vents all the way down the sides to keep you cool while you do the hard, long efforts. As far as what comes with it, obviously you get the two shoes, and then both of the shoes have a little extra cardboard on the inside just to hold their shape. As with the other Shimano shoes, you do get these insole arch support pieces. So if we open this up, you can see in this little envelope, we have these two arch supports. They just go velcro directly onto the outsole. So if you have a higher arch, you can swap them in. Or you can remove the medium one that's pre-installed if you have a flatter foot. You have basic BOA branding on here. There's a big instruction manual, as well as some instructions on how to place the cleats, as well as how to remove those little red spacers. And at the bottom of the bag, in the box, you also have this really nice S-PHYRE bag. So it has the S-PHYRE branding on here and this glossy finish, and it's a great way to travel with these shoes and keep them clean. Now let's take a look at the weight of the shoes. We have the Euro 44 wide, so they're going to be a little bit heavier. So the left one is 268 grams, while the right shoe is slightly more at 270 grams. At first glance, the RC903 Power shoes could be easily mistaken for the standard RC903 shoes, as they share many of the same design details. Shimano has used a very similar 360 surround design, which actually wraps the upper material around and even goes around the outsole and covers it up for a very unique appearance that really holds your foot in place as you tighten the dials. It's a highly integrated design, and again, that upper material even extends down here, so it conceals a lot of the carbon outsole. With this one, they've also optimized the cooling, so you can see along the exterior you have all these perforations, and they're variable sizing, so larger in the middle, it gets a little smaller as it goes around, and extends even further along the sides than the standard S-PHYRE shoes. To help these shoes stand out, you can see it has this beautiful crystal finish on the heel cup, and as well as around the outsole. It's a polarizing design. It's almost like a holographic finish, but it really is mirror-like, and you can see as the light hits it, you have these ridges here, and depending on the angle, the color shifts between purple, this yellow color around the base, and a very cool finish. Hopefully it'll stand up to walking, but you can see otherwise it really makes it stand out, and even extends on the toe bumper. So you can see the toe bumper is almost pearlescent on the top, then it shifts as it goes around the bottom, and it gives a really cool pixelated effect. These shoes are only available in this one white color, but you can see you do have the kind of cool finish on the S-PHYRE. So a little bit of color shift near the bottom, big logo along the side, and then Shimano on the front. There's also this subtle triangular design that you can really only see in the light, so it transitions from this darker white to a more shiny gloss white and has this little graphical treatment to it. So pretty cool design, and obviously being just white, they've made it actually stand out by adding this additional kind of crystal finish. As far as the closure, that's a big difference between this shoe and the standard RC9 shoes. Instead of having dual dials, they've actually gone down to one, and readjusted the position. So this is a BOA Li2 dial, Type D, so it's actually metal. Very sleek, slim appearance with these little grooves on the edge for additional grip. And being metal, you can see it really stands out as the light hits it and complements the shoe. Rather than having the dial placed on the strap, you can see they've repositioned it actually on the shoe, so more similar to the Aero shoes which try to hide it. You can see it's on the edge. And then you have this big strap system with this one dial controlling this very complicated lacing pattern. So you can see this is what they call their power lace design. So it actually wraps up and around. You have these plastic guides that bring it around. And then you can see as I tighten it, these pull in. And then you have this double loop in the center section. It's a little bit counterintuitive to have the top line shoe have a single dial. But they've really done this to optimize the rigidity and improve the cooling because you actually have more open space here. On the bottom toe box, you also have this little Velcro strap, which gives you a little bit of adjustment for the main toe box, but most of the adjustment will be through that big BOA dial. The heel cup here is also very similar to the RC9 shoe, so big external heel cup, very stiff, so you can see how narrow it gets here. It'll really prevent your heel from rotating or lifting out, even when you're putting in high watts during a sprint. It's also really eye-catching, especially with its color, but provides a lot of structure for an otherwise pretty soft shoe. So you can see you can compress most of it except for the back and then the toe bumper. As far as the outsole, you have Shimano's kind of unique design. It's completely covered up. So rather than seeing the carbon fiber extend all the way, you really only see the portion around the cleat attachment point. The upper material here has a seam that wraps around, and again, this really cool crystal finish all the way around this. This is their top of the line carbon fiber sole, so it has a stiffness index of 12 out of 12 and has a forged carbon fiber appearance. So you can see as the light hits it, you can see these almost triangular flakes of carbon rather than a uniform grid. You also have fore and aft adjustment for your 3-bolt cleat setup. So this will work for the Shimano SPD-SL or the Li2. You don't have the memory eyelet that you'd want with the Li2, but with this adjustment and these nice grid design that's printed on the base, you can easily position the cleat to make sure it's centered and not rotated. You also have a nice air vent on the front with this mesh panel, and then a big air vent on the back to really let air get through it. If I open this up, we can also take a look at the insole. So as with the other S-PHYRE shoes, has a very nice construction. So you can see a nice EVA foam, quite thick, and you can see the vents here on the front and on the back, which match the placement of the holes in the outsole. It also has this adjustable arch support system. So a very clever design. You can remove this if you're more of a flat-footed person. And then the pre-installed one is the medium arch support. And you also have the red version, which is the thicker version for a taller arch. So it's a pretty simple system that eliminates the need for a custom outsole or insole. On the inside, you can also see the carbon fiber construction and how it extends all the way. You have the little water barrier there. And then what's cool about these shoes is they're nearly transparent. So you can see with the light on here, tons of vent. You have the mesh in the middle of the tongue, and then all these holes around the edge. And you can also see that big hole in the front. And then you can see it's pretty much transparent here where the vent is. Here you can see some riding footage with the power shoes, and as you can see, the white upper and the crystal finish really stand out. It's a unique color combination, and when the sun hits it, you get a bunch of colors on that crystal finish. And it really pairs well with something like our color shifting specialized tarmac. It's a really cool pair of shoes, and you can really see that heel cup, especially when you're behind somebody or to their side. Overall, the shoes are really comfortable. Obviously, we're a little bit skeptical about the single dial setup. It does sacrifice some of the adjustability. Obviously, with the single dial, you really can't adjust the toe as much. And that Velcro strap, like most Velcro straps, doesn't really seem to do much. But even with the single dial, it's very comfortable and stiff. Obviously, you do sacrifice a little bit of the comfort that you get with the S-PHYRE, but we still find it comfortable for even 4, 5, 6 hour long rides. And you just have to get used to a little bit more stiffness than your standard pair of shoes. So definitely not a pair of shoes for a beginner, but more of a high intensity cyclist that wants to preserve every watt. They're also really beautiful shoes. So again, here you can see a nice back shot of them. When the sun hits them, they really shine. And with the nice stiff carbon fiber sole, you don't lose any watts. Our only real complaint with these shoes is that with the single dial, it's really hard to put on and take off. So it's a struggle to slide your feet in there, as they just don't open up as much as the standard S-PHYRE shoes. As you can see here, we actually have the Shimano S-PHYRE RC903. This is a standard version. You can see beautiful blue finish with this iridescent design, but very similar in appearance. You have the same 360 design, you have dual BOA dials on the standard version, single dial here, which is actually aluminum rather than the standard plastic version, but very similar upper material that wraps around. With the power, you actually get the single dial in this double lace pattern with the Velcro strap on the bottom. Venting on here, you can see it's been extended compared to the standard RC903. So the power, you can see a little bit more venting, a lighter material too, so it's more flexible. And the heel cup here, you can see has this beautiful crystal finish instead of just being the iridescent design, but otherwise very similar in appearance. Same heel pad, same bottom construction where it wraps around. But again, this one's quite a bit more flashy. They both have the forged carbon fiber appearance, which really looks cool, especially as the light hits it. So with this one, you definitely just get that additional performance with a single dial setup and a little bit more ventilation and light. We also have the RC7. So it's the latest version, which is the 703. And you can see this has always been similar to S-PHYRE, but a lot cheaper. It's $250 versus the $475 here. But similar 360 design that wraps around. It has dual BOA dials like the standard S-PHYRE, but you don't get the big heel cup, less stiff with a more traditional base rather than this more concealed design. Also, as far as the top end shoes, we have the Trek RSL knit. So you can see this one's a knit, so even more flexible than the Shimano dual BOA Li2 gold dials, which looks really cool. And a very different construction, so it's more of a knit design with these dual strap that actually wrap around and apply compression. Even more venting, as the knit construction is very transparent and lightweight. And with this gold color, you can see very flashy versus the crystal mirror finish that you get on the S-PHYRE. We also have the DMT KR0, which is a full knit shoe. A lot less flashy, but you can see bright orange color. More traditional base. So you can see big vents here with the carbon fiber exposed versus the more concealed design of the S-PHYRE. We also have the Bont Vapor S. You can see this is the wide variation compared to the wide variation of the S-PHYRE. You can see it's even wider, and Bont is a lot more anatomical fitting, so if you have a wider foot, I always recommend the Bont, but with the wide Shimano, they're quite comfortable, but you can see this one's just bigger. You can see the heel cup on the Bont is also quite large, but it's actually more of a bathtub design where this is a cup. This one's actually the full base extending upward. Not as attractive as you get. You can see a lot more carbon fiber, a lot more dense here as you ride it more, but you get heat moldable features and a very anatomical fit. So with the S-PHYRE, you get a great combination of the S-PHYRE's feature with a little bit more cooling and stability. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Shimano S-PHYRE Power shoes. What I like about them is they're stiff and stable. So they're really great for high performance sprinting or climbing. You don't lose any watts. Shimano's also added a really nice eye-catching crystal finish around the heel cup and around the front of the outsole that makes it really unique looking, and it's exclusive to this power shoe. You also have a nice wraparound design with that secure fit, so again, you don't lose any watts when you're sprinting. The main negatives with this shoe is the fact that it's only offered in white, unlike the standard S-PHYRE, which has 4 different colors. You only have this white and crystal option. Also, with the single BOA Li2 dial, you have a lot less adjustability, which makes it more difficult to make adjustments on the fly and makes it significantly more difficult to put the shoes on or take them off. Taking everything into account would give these shoes a 9.5 out of 10. They're stiff and eye-catching carbon fiber cycling shoes. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.